This is Christina with Raven Oracle and Tarot. So today I wanted to do an unboxing and walkthrough of a tarot that you can purchase from Five Below. This is a very cheap deck, about $5 or so, and it has all the cards. One thing I noticed though is that some of the cards up here don't actually correctly match the cards inside the deck itself. So here's the cards. They are very colorful. Here's the back side. They have an upright, and you can flip them cards and still see tarot on both sides. And they have a very celestial theme. But there's definitely a big difference between this and the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. You can see here the Fool is not represented by a person in this tarot deck. Oh, let me tell you a little bit more. This deck is distributed by Kalan, and it was made in China. Also, we have here the magician. So we have again that there aren't many references to people, and more so a focus on more simplistic, minimalist design. And there are still some symbolism present in the cards. We have the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is demonstrated in a human figure here, and you can see there's fewer symbolisms, but there is an interesting like heart chakra being represented in this heart area here. The Empress is also represented as a human form, but similar to the other ones that we just saw, the Empress seems to have this kind of Greco-Roman appearance and still very celestial appearance as well. Now, this is where I'm wondering if my cards might have had some sort of mix-up or a mistake, because we have the Emperor here represented as a sun, and on this card facing, we have the Emperor represented as a human. So there might have been a misprint in my particular one, or that just might be how it is. And we have the Hierophant here as well, with lots of moon magic appearing, some flowers as well. And the Lovers card is really interesting because we're bringing the focus in towards the snake, and we have black and white snake. So there is that sort of representation of the duality of the lovers. I love this card here because the chariot is represented as a spaceship, which really fits the celestial theme. Oh, there's another aspect I really love about this card, and that is that it seems as if the sun and the moon, or just like the sides of the moon, are actually kissing each other. And we have the Strength here, card represented as what looks like a Taurus or a bull. And the hermit is appear to be represented by the moon with a distant location of a beautiful uh, mountains and other scenery. Now, this is one of my favorite cards from this deck here. The Wheel of Fortune appears to have represented the moon phases and have some really interesting symbolism that does not seem to match the Jewish alphabet here that's represented in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. Now, the Justice card, I can't quite wrap my brain around. I'm I'm seeing the celestial theme, but I'm not sure why it's inside a light bulb. I would think this would be better for one of the cards that represents like a new idea, like discovering a new idea, rather than the Justice card is supposed to represent impartial, unbiased, fair decision, outcome, truth, honesty, paying the consequences. The Hanged Man also kind of confuses me because we have a man represented here. Once again, looks Greco-Roman, but he's not upside down. The Death card has reduced a lot of the symbolism, but still adds in the moon phases, which makes me think about how this card deck seems very celestial and moon oriented. And we have a focus on a skull here. So it is a bit more minimalistic, simplistic. The Temperance card here does focus in on bringing the symbolism of the water and intuition, and also gives us a scenery of the night sky behind the fish. The Devil card removes a lot of the symbolism, and but I can appreciate the dark colors and the red, and it does seem to bring out the meaning of the card with a more of an abstract approach. The tower card is very beautiful. You don't see tower imagery, but you do see, once again, moon phases and a variety of other really interesting symbols. If anybody knows what these symbols are, leave me a comment. The star card, once again, removes references to humans or human figures and focuses in on astrology and moon phases. The moon card brings back the imagery that we saw earlier of the snake. So you don't have that necessarily in the original Rider-Waite-Smith, but I think you can use your intuition to interpret that here. The sun card confuses me because this is the same image that we saw and the Emperor card. And we're going to see the Sun card like this. These images represented in the suits as well. So this keeps replicating itself across the whole deck. Judgment here looks like it's bringing in yin and yang concepts and focusing in on Saturn, I believe. Unless that was Jupiter. I'm not as familiar with the planets. This card, I love the world card. It looks like our world. And because I play World of Warcraft, this makes me think about Azeroth and how Azeroth is considered a Titan that is being birthed inside the Earth. And at some point in future expansions will possibly be birthed. I don't know what's going to happen to the Earth at that point. But if you don't know anything about World of Warcraft, don't worry about it. Otherwise, this card seems really cool. So here's where we're going to discover that this is actually a pip deck uh, rather than having imagery across um, all of the suits. It instead just has a reference to the image. So we do have a wand, and oddly enough, the wand is not upright. It appears to be being dropped. And now we have two wands, so representing the Two of Wands. But again, it's focused in on bringing some of these celestial imagery in here, like moons and stars and clouds. But we're missing, as a pip deck normally has, we miss some of the context clues and symbolism that we can pull from seeing the people in the deck. But if you want to have a minimalist card deck where you don't have exposure to people or you prefer animals or something like that, then this is a good choice for a deck for you. I like the idea of a pip deck. Um, I'm not sure if a pip deck would be good for learning because you're missing those context cues when you see the ones and the twos and the threes and what they might mean. But this can instead encourage you to learn numerology, to learn the Kabbalah tree of life and what all of those mean, and connect those to the numbers without having to rely on the images to tell you what you should be interpreting on those cards. So there's kind of upsides and downsides to both, and I'm thinking that I like pip cards, but I also like having the context cues available for me. And so another thing you'll notice is that when we come back to the court cards, we've got the page. We come back to seeing a singular wand. So if you're not looking carefully, you can get confused as to thinking this is like an ace or a one of wands. So you have to pay attention to the fact that it's a page. And again, with the knight here, you have to make sure to read and seek because it's once again one wand. So due to that, it's probably not a good idea to modify the deck and reduce the size or take any of the words off, because then you might have a hard time figuring out which one it is unless you plan to write it directly onto the deck. We have the Queen of Wands. So here's where I do have another like uncertainty that's interesting about this deck is that the both the kings and the queens are depicted with sun energy, and the queens have an upright wand, whereas the kings have an upside down wand, but they have the same background with sun energy to them. So I wonder what the author of this is intending for that sort of symbolism to represent. Maybe you can give me your ideas in the comments. Now we're moving on to the cups, and we do have the hand holding the cup. And once again, Pip. But I do find it interesting that that the symbolism includes clouds with eyes in them. Possibly, this is a particular symbol I'm not aware of, but it's similar um, to like the eye inside the pyramid, probably representing like some all-knowing being is watching you or something like that. So now we're moving through illustrating that once again this is a pip deck, but each card has its own set of colors and the numbers are arranged in different way on each card. There are 9 of Cups, 10 of Cups, and once again we're back to the concept of using a singular cup to represent the page. Here's our Knight of Cups. And again, we have the sun energy for the Queen of Cups, just like we saw with the other ones. And with the King of Cups. And the only difference is that a slightly darker shade is represented in the background the behind that. So once again, we have this interesting concept of the hand dropping the sword, like we saw the hand dropping a wand earlier instead of the upright wand. Our Two of Swords, Three of Swords, we're missing the context of that heart in the middle. Four of Swords, Five of Swords, Six of Swords, and so on. I can see the Eight of Swords being a very dark color in the back. So if you are interested in colors and symbolism from colors, this would be a good deck choice for you too. Yeah, we're coming on to black again being used for the Ten of Swords as well. So that's definitely meaningful. You could probably get something out of the color symbology here. We have the concept again of returning back to a singular representation of the sword instead of people. For the page and the knight. And again, our queen has that sun energy. And our king has that same sun energy, only it's flipped from queen was upright and king is facing down. And now we have pentacles. So from the pentacles, it's again that Greco-Roman appearance. This looks like it could be a Roman coin or a Greco-Roman coin. And we do still have at least the imagery of the hand holding the pentacle. Two of Pentacles, so we are missing the really neat infinity symbol between them, but I do think that you could probably get something out of the direction that the faces are facing. They are facing each other in this in that one. They're also facing each other in this one. Ah, but the Four of Pentacles, they're not facing each other. They're looking away. That's kind of interesting. Our Five of Pentacles. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm saying the black here might not accurately represent the 10 because the 10 seems very positive and for the pentacle. So it might be difficult to connect the colors accurately to the symbology of the cards. So you'll have to check it out. We have the page, so now we have a very large pentacle. The knight. At least they are facing the same direction as each other. Let's go back and look. And they're facing the same direction. Not quite facing the same direction, but that beautiful sun energy coming across for both the queen and the king. All right, so that's all of the cards. The cardstock itself is very thin, and it's very pliable. And as you might have noticed, there's a little bit of sheen to it. When holding the cardstock and looking at the edging of the whole together, there's no special edging on it, so you could certainly apply your own edging. But as soon as you do a bit of a spread here, all of the colors do come out. So I don't know if edging it would affect how beautiful that would be considered to you, but certainly apply the edging if you want. And for those of you who are new to tarot, you just want a really cheap deck, I would definitely recommend going to Five Below and grabbing a copy of this. Or if you are wanting to try edging and you've never done it before, then a Five Below copy would be perfect because then you're not destroying an expensive set of cards when doing that approach. So I hope you all have a wonderful day and definitely consider getting this card deck. I actually feel really positive vibes coming off of this deck, even though it's coming from a retail a cheap retail location. It's actually seems like a really neat deck. So go for it. And I will see you next time.